Welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. Get into the game here. And okay, we've got a bunch of puzzles still to go in this region. And a couple of them over here. There's a bunch of them still. Let's see, I think, let's get that one. Okay, we have precision. All the regions are 4 cells, and we have palisade. Palisade, this one says I do that. This one says I do that. That is 4, so that can be closed. This is 24 cells. That or that. Anything could be part of anything here. That goes with that. This could connect to that and then take that. It could be that. And then there would be that. This one, well, that could be anything like that there. That just went too easily. There's got to be some. If this were to not take that, this could not complete. Yeah, okay. So this does have to take that. And that means that those are borders on that one. So it has to do that. That has to do that. Now this has to be a corner, so that means that this, I mean, I already showed the solution to it, but this can't do that because there has to be a corner here. And if we did that, it would have to do that. We know that it has to do that. And if it took that one, then these would be cut off. So it takes those. Let's see. What if I do that there? Okay. 4, then there's 4, and that one. This region actually has one way back here. And up here. Yeah, let's find all of these that are... Ooh, okay, palisade. There's nothing else. If this one were like that, it would do... It would come out here. I don't know. This one, there would that would go like that. These, it's going to run straight through the center, either horizontally or vertically. That, and it could bend there, and then this one says do that. Do that, that. That would allow that to do that. This could just be like that. This. There's no rule about the size of them. So that could do that. Now that could bend that way and that way. Close that, and then this can do that. This could do that. No. Okay. Right there. This one, if we did that, we have to take care of this. So that would be like that. Okay, now that can just do that, like that. I have a W there. This can do that. We have an end here. That could just do that. That it all just went together way too easily. What happens if I go this way? Now this one has to do that. And that one does the same. This one would do that and stop there. It could do that and that. This could do that. That one broke. Okay. If that is like, yeah, okay. Back all that up. We had this and we had that. This one has to do that. And then that one would do that. And that. Then there's this. That. I've got nothing restricting any of this so far. Okay, here, this one, this is broken down here. If we go vertically, the problem is after doing that, this is done, so it has to do that, which means this one has to do that. And then there's that. There's that. That one. This one right here is broken. If we go vertically. Okay, it does break. Therefore, we know it's going to be horizontal. Then this, this one, right? We have these. Now, that one must do that. This one has to do that. This one has to do that. This one has to do that. And that, this there. This can only have one border. So it does that, which gives us that. Now that has its borders. And that gets its border, and that one. Then this one has its border. And that is that one. This one has to connect to that. Cannot go up there. This one has to go here. And that one has to go there where it has to stop. This one has to do that and stop. Stop. Okay. What do we got? What do we just do? 48 of 48. There are still some extras to do here. Let's get that one. That right here is a good place to start. This one has only one border. The red and the yellow cannot be the same region because they're on opposite sides of that border. We do that. Now this one has to have borders on two sides that are opposing each other, so it does that. This has to do that, so that can't connect to it, which means it does that, and this does that. That one can't go into there, so it must do those. Can't connect here, and that's an end. So there's a separate region there. This one has its borders, so it does that, and that. This one has its borders. That one can't go to here, so it does that. That. Well, this one needs a border here, right? Now that means this one does that. So we get borders there and there. There's a border here. That one has its border in. That one has its border. This one needs a border here. Those are not the same. This one is good. These are different, so put a border there, which means this one just does that. Block all that in. It can't go that way. Now we get a border here for this one, so it does that. And we get those. Now this one has to take all of that. And there we go. That would be, yes, a +1. Well, we're going to work on these. Precision 4. So that cannot go into that because it would just be a domino. It's got to do that. Got to do all of these, yeah. These, okay, some of these are going to connect because they still have, those two connecting would be 4. These two connecting could take that one. This one, I don't know. This one does that. That can come out. If this one were to do that, that would be broken because it can't take that, and that would be 5. So it does that one. Now this takes those. That could take that. It even makes sense for it to. Although it might not as well. If this one were to do that, then this one would come out here, this one would do that. It could connect to that and then go there. This one would do that. We'd have 4 here. No, this would be broken because of this one having to have a 4th. It can't take that. Is there another way that those could go? I mean, I'm already seeing that this one is taking that one, probably. 4. No. Okay. We're going to do that. Now, that one must come out here because that one would block it otherwise. Three, then this one comes out here. That one. That could take that or that. Okay, we have this one is 2. This one would be 1. If these two did not connect, how would that work? 3, 4. It would not work. Not at all. Now the only way that it does anything is that way. Then this does that, and it's done. Ooh, more end precision. 5. Okay. All of this works out somehow. That looks like a cross right there. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. Then this one is going to have to go somewhere. This can't just go that way. It would still need to take something else. It could, in fact, take that. Huh. That could be like that. That doesn't work. Okay. If this were to take that, it would do that. Now something has to take this, which has to be that one. So this one does that. And if it did that and that, it would be broken. Yeah. Okay. Well, that means this is not a thing. But this could be. Now that one would be broken. Because we'd have 4 there. Okay. Right. So, if that tried to take that, then this one would break. And if it went the other way, this one would break. Wrong keys. Okay. And if this took that, it would be that. That is probably better. Then this one can come out here. We can close that off that way. That one comes out like that. And 5 like that one. Then this is 1, 2, 3. Possibly going to that one. This could not take that. This couldn't be part of that, and this couldn't be part of that. This can't come all the way over here like that, because then neither of these can complete a region of 5 area. But these could do that. No. This one is breaking that. I've got 6 down here. So how does this no. Let's clear the whole thing. If we do all that, this is broken right here. So we don't do that. Which means these 3 can't connect. If that and that, one, 2, 5. No, now that's going to break over here. This one is clear it. What does it do? How do I take care of all of these? If this one does that, this is going to break. It's only got 4. So this does not do that. It could take that, but then these are still going to break. So this cannot come up here without this down here breaking. I mean, I don't know that it doesn't take that. That's 3. I can take that and that, but we've already seen that fail, which might have just been because of something else. One, two, three, 4. What's going to take that? Yeah. Okay, this right here. If this does not take that, and this does not take that, and that, and that, that and that, then nothing is taking that. So one of those, at least, must take that. And now it's down to only 2, and it needs 3 more, which means it must take those. So what I did at first has to be right. It's just whatever I did after that that was wrong. That must be right. It's the only way to fill this. Now, these have to take 3 more. Every one of these is an end. 3 ends gets you to 5. It's got to do that. 3. Now here, this is 3. I can take 2 more. Up to here, there are 3 more. One of these 3 is not part of this. And that has to be that. Now this one, that region has to do that. So there, I know this is going to come out here, but I don't know what else it'll do. If okay, these is if these two worked together there, these could go to that and take that. Then this could do that, and yes, that is valid. Okay. Put an F there, and an F there, and a Y there. Okay, that will do it for this episode, and I think this region with this rule set only has that one to go. Then I'll move on here in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.